Yeah, we back. Happy Sunday, y'all. Second live of the day. Let's get back to work here because this one, I will get there. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's coming in, Melly, our members and our mods. I appreciate y'all as always. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video, help the podcast continue to grow brick by brick. As always, same philosophy as RBE. And speaking of RBE, y'all make sure y'all check out the live that we just did this morning about Remy Ma, man. You got to make that happen. We dropped that a couple hours ago. I'll probably link it to the end of this video as well for anybody that hangs around all the way towards the end. I made another quick change behind me. Hold on. All right. All right. I had to make another quick change. Who that was prior, that was like a Dragon Ball Z guy. Dragon Ball Z is a dope anime, but I don't know Dragon Ball Z that well, to be honest. I just know that it's dope. But Pennywise, man, he goes all the way back to my childhood. I'm not talking about the recent movies that hit theaters. I'm talking about, what was it, the HBO special that scared the shit out of us as kids. As I said, man, I gotta have Pennywise behind me, man. So let me switch that up. So we still changing the backdrop every once in a while. See what y'all rock with, see what y'all don't. But all right, let's go here. Lil Durk's what's the video that we're gonna watch is Lil Durk's 5 revenge murders missed by the FBI. Here it is here. Okay. That's the one we're actually gonna watch. And I do want to give a big salute and shout out to a drill journalist. That's the channel of this video. Dope content. Y'all make sure y'all check that channel out. But he put together this video. He has 2 of them, one of which was made months, I believe, before Durk's indictment, and another one that he made recently after Durk's indictment. So for the most part, we think about 2 shootings that's in the indictments that's allegedly related to Lil Durk, right? The first one is Lil Pob, Quando Rondo's cousin, which was allegedly tied to Sly Vaughn. The one that we broke down in that hour and 50-minute stream the other day as we read through this newly unsealed indictment that went in April 2023 that was supposed to be sliding for his brother D-Thang. That involved one other alleged victim. There's 3 more that's named in this documentary. You see the thumbnail here. We got the Fuck My Cousin song, and we got the Aha song. The Aha song is already over 100 million views. We spoke about that during the indictment. The second one that was just unsealed, and that song is also in the indictment, as well as people from the video and lyrics from the video. This Fuck My Cousin one that's going around. You got that. You got Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is like one of the hardest tracks I've been playing recently. As a song, I love the Beverly Hills track. But there's just a lot of things that's being said in some of these songs. You got the Fuck My Cousin, you got the Aha, you got the Beverly Hills, you got the Piss Me Off. These songs have the lyrics, the breadcrumbs, the hints, the subliminals, the videos, the imagery, the Instagram posts, the tattoos, all of this. And we can't say that the internet is out here doing the police's job. I think that's a little naive to say. I like to go to the root cause. These rappers are doing the detectives' jobs. The internet is the internet. The internet is going to go put all this shit together, whether it ends up in an indictment because some FBI agent went and studied these videos, or whether it's just the internet we're all putting these messages around and we're going to keep talking about it. And hopefully nothing happens behind it. Hopefully it's all untrue, right? But all these indictments that we read, it's not that, Sorry It's True podcast and Joe Budden's podcast and a drill journalist and academics and all these podcasts that cover this type of stuff, cover hip hop, cover the artists, cover controversy, cover crime. These FBI agents, they're not just watching these podcasts and saying, all right, let me write this indictment up. That would be irresponsible of them. You saw the indictment that we just read, right? A couple days ago. It was so detailed. I wanted to know the fucking FBI agent's name at the end. I was just like, the amount of work that he put in, months putting all these details together. No, they might get stuff from social media or the blogs, or they'll talk about, yeah, Vlad's interview was used over here and academics interview was used over there. But these guys still get in the field and put this information together and go get informants, go get video footage, go get actual evidence, DNA, all types of stuff that was in that last indictment that we read. And that's why documentaries like this are even possible, because we keep reminding each other, let's stop taking these detectives and authorities for fools. Let's stop taking the internet for fools too. But maybe these artists aren't. Maybe it's just, I kind of want y'all to decode all the stuff that I'm saying, and I want the internet to know. So let's get into this one.
At seniors, investigators say the apparent target of this deadly gunfire, a rapper from the Atlanta area. They say a pretty well-known rapper, too, in this area, along with the second person in this black Cadillac Escalade. May have been a relative, may have been a member of his entourage. We don't know, but it's that second person, not the rapper, but the second person who was hit by gunfire.
Popping traffic, we in Cali, right through Beverly Hills with choppers. I'm not hiding, bro, them know we crashing. Down to see the office. Use some passengers, did your seats to travel. Crack can't get us off.
January 27th, 2020.
That right there is the lyrics from the Beverly Hills. I dyed my hair. I'm Super Saiyan. I can't pull that trigger. I know Buka can't. That shit is hard as what? We in traffic, go to Beverly Hills with choppers. How you name a song Beverly Hills where Lil Pop was? Anyway, let's get back to it.
A mere 7 months following the murder of Lil Durk's blood brother D-Thang, 24-year-old Anthony Wilson and 23-year-old Preston Powell drove up to the Youth Peace Center of Roseland in the 400 block of West 111th Street, where they were looking for one Stefan Mack, who was allegedly involved in the murder of D-Thang at Club O the previous year. They'd walk up to Stefan and unload a barrage of shots towards him, wounding a security guard who was on duty and killing Stefan Mack before fleeing the scene. A superseding indictment unsealed by the FBI claims the two shooters were handsomely compensated for the murder of Stefan Mack, but they weren't able to exactly pinpoint the suspect involved in orchestrating the hit.
Let me make sure I make that clear distinction. Shout out to Northern Dame. So we saw obviously the one that's in the initial indictment where he got arrested when they thought he was leaving to what was it, to Italy, right? So that one is supposed to be the Sly for Vaughn one, right? That was one person. The second one is supposedly for his brother. And that's this whole thing that's tied to the hit in the snow when we broke down the indictment that we read through the full 40 pages the other day. The other three that's going to be in this video and is putting all these details together, this last three is not in any of his indictments. I want to be clear. This is what the internet and the streets are saying. But at that point, once again, we're giving the internet a lot of credit because the type of stuff that these artists are putting out there, they just want everybody to put the puzzle together. I gotta assume at this point. So the puzzles are being put together. I'm not wishing that this ends up in his indictment, but nobody should be shocked if it does, because this is the stuff that's going around. All right.
That was until FBI informant FBG Duck revealed to the world that the murderers indicted in the shooting death of Stefan Mack had confessed that Lil Durk recruited them to shoot and kill Stefan Mack and would be financially compensated if they were to do so.
Who the name get brought up and what actually proving facts that you didn't pay me some money to go kill him. You didn't pay me to kill. I'd have killed the wrong fucker for me to turn around and go kill a right fucker though. But you, the police know I work for you. Cause they say Shorty flat out told they, it's like, man, Lil Durk told me to do that shit. And he paid me to do it. Right? Showing receipts. Like, this nigga gave me real money to get this man gone. A lot of money, right? Why is this man not in jail, gang?
I think Durk got a song going at Butter for talking a lot in interviews. And don't get me wrong. Butter, I think his reputation is that of one that you don't just take everything he says for truth. But one thing that the streets got to give him is he's got an active past, right? Him and his sister Jakira that was allegedly killed by Vaughn, right? He's got an active past, right? So he's a street nigga. So if you're up there speaking about the streets, you're going to pay attention because he's in those streets. He knows a lot that's going on, regardless of whether he's always telling the truth or embellishing sometimes or not.
And 5 months after sitting down with Flat TV and asking him with all the evidence stacked up against Lil Durk, how come he wasn't indicted yet? Subsequently, on October the 25th, the US Marshals would apprehend Lil Durk in Florida as he was attempting to board his private jet and flee the States. He would be charged with murder for hire in the death of Quando Rondo's cousin, Xavier Robinson, who's more commonly known as Lil Pub. But what you and the FBI may not know is that this most likely may have been not Lil Durk's first murder he solicited in an act of retaliation. So, allow me to archive various incriminating lyrics, confessions on interviews, and police records with inconclusive evidence that may point to Lil Durk having a hand in at least 5 murders in the last half a decade. I want to show you this video OTF Chuck posted on his IG story 2 months before D-Thang's fatal shooting at Club O. It's Lil Durk's blood brother D-Thang taunting and dissing his ops, Dump Street, at a party he was attending. I'm pretty sure we're all.
So if y'all heard me in the stream the other day, that's one thing I said. I guess because I don't know D-Thang's his music, or obviously we all know that this is Durk's brother. But I never followed D-Thang. I never really heard too much from him. Never had a reason to pay too much attention to him over the years. So I said, I don't know allegedly what street shit he may or may not have been involved in. Videos like this show me. They put it clearly there. Him on his Instagram, story saying F Dump Street. And then they start to get into the backstory of Dump Street, the gang Dump Street, the people that were killed from Dump Street allegedly after D-Thang died for paid for retaliation. The links towards all this stuff gets real crazy, man. Hey, everybody, all my Chicago natives, y'all jump in the chats and, y'all let me know how close to what y'all believe is accurate in the comments. And now when we start talking about this war with Dump Street and D-Thang and all that, drop comments below. Let me know.
All aware of how seriously these gangbangers take disrespectful remarks made on the internet, and sooner rather than later, Dump Street members would confront D-Thang about the remarks he made on Instagram that night. June the 7th, 2021, D-Thang would be riding around the city of Chicago and documenting himself while running errands that day. He'd post his brother's collaborative album, Voice of the Heroes with Lil Baby, that dropped Friday. He'd also post a video with a nail tech getting his manicure and pedicure done. And hours later, on the same day, D-Thang would drive to the 17038 South Halstead Street in Harvey, Illinois, to a crime-ridden gentleman's club called Club O, a club that has been a setting to numerous shootings and considered a dangerous part of Chicago. Nevertheless, being a feared and notorious black disciple in the city, and your brother being the richest rapper controlling the streets of the rack, D-Thang would go and enjoy his night at Club O, surrounded by exotic dancers and various gang members armed to the teeth. Where he was at a club where he reckoned he was well secured. But as the night went on, a Dump Street gang member named Karagang Denham would walk up to D-Thang and confront him before pulling out his gun and shooting him in the head, then immediately fleeing the scene. D-Thang would collapse to the ground and a slew of gunshots would erupt after he fell to the ground. A police officer would be hit in the thigh as people were scrambling to leave Club O. Investigators would release a statement claiming to be investigating if a shooting that transpired hours following D-Thang's shooting for what happened at Club O or not. But amidst all this chaos, when paramedics arrived at the scene, they would subsequently examine D-Thang's gunshot wound to the head and essentially pronounce him dead. And following the death of D-Thang and how much of a danger the club posed, Club O would subsequently be shut down, with various cars still in the parking lot and the crime scene from the night of D-Thang's death not being cleaned up either, with various TikTok videos surfacing showing the aftermath of the club where Lil Durk's brother lost his life. D-Thang's father Dante Banks would go on the Shy podcast and let the host know how he had been avoiding processing and grieving the death of his son, and how there would be no form of retaliation that would follow after D-Thang's death.
It's one of those things I've never faced or accepted yet. I'm still suppressing it. I'm still moving on, keeping myself busy, keep doing the work so I don't have to really sit down and really focus upon my son and the loss that he's no longer here. So when this happened to me, I got to show them by my own example that we ain't gonna do no revenge, ain't gonna be no retaliation. As of today, as I sit here in this interview, I have yet to really deal. I've yet to mourn my son. I keep myself busy, I keep myself moving, I keep myself where I don't really have to really deal with this right now. I know at one point I'm gonna have to deal with it. At one point it might catch me off guard, But right now, I just can't deal with it right now. Because I fought too many years, 26 years, to get out and be a part of my children's life To have one of them taken from me, the oldest one, my firstborn, it's just very difficult. And like I said, I haven't dealt with it yet. I just keep moving, keep finding something to do,
And with the promise of infamy one would receive from claiming to be the trigger man that took the life of D-Thang, various Dump Street gang members would get into the studio, all with the intentions to diss the late D-Thang in an attempt to provoke a rap beef with Lil Durk. Dump Street gang members would post snippets of one of their rappers rapping about how they killed Lil Durk's brother.
Whatever he said, can't get you, then get your kin. Ha, your brother dead.
And one gang member who rapped under the...
Did y'all hear that shit? Did y'all hear that? Let's bring it back.
How they killed Lil Durk's brother.
Whatever he said, can't get you, then get your kin. Ha, your brother dead.
And one gang member who...
Did y'all hear that shit? Allegedly, Dump Street members, this is what they rapped after D-Thang was killed. One more time.
To provoke a rap beef with Lil Durk, Dump Street gang members would post snippets of one of their rappers rapping about how they killed Lil Durk's brother.
Whatever he said, can't get you, then get your kin. Ha, your brother dead.
And one gang member who rapped under the stage...
Can't get you, we get your kin. Aha, that nigga dead. It just makes me ask the question. If you're into it with Dump Street and the streets are saying that these Dump Street members allegedly were the ones that killed D-Thang, and D-Thang got Instagram live saying fuck Dump Street, right? They do a song with those lyrics. Is that what inspires the Aha song from Lil Durk? Is this Aha for Aha?
Stage name of Natso would drop Glagla, a diss to OTF signee Lil Z Osama, where he raps about how he's gonna treat one of his ops as if he was at Club O and take someone's head off and knock their dreads off. A clear diss to D-Thang and referring to the fatal gunshot wound he suffered to the head at the hands of Karagang Tanam, who in fact was being harassed by Lil Durk fans who were asking him why he had shot and killed D-Thang under his Instagram post. Lil Durk would open up about his state of mind and the pain he was enduring in grieving the death of his brother D-Thang, and on Kanye West Jonah, he'd reference how the death of D-Thang took him...
Whether you are guilty of it or not, if you post just a regular Instagram post and people are underneath your comments saying, why did you kill D-Thang? You're going to have a target on your back. Same thing happened with the O Block 6, right? They literally were going live. And the moment that they would go live, people would be jumping on their live saying, yo, FBG Duck, long live FBG. Why'd you kill FBG? Blah, blah, blah. All of them. They couldn't even get on live no more. They get on live. They start looking at it. Yo, stop talking about, like, I ain't, they get off their live. And they were all indicted, right? You post just some random shit and they're like, why did you kill? The streets is the streets. Streets be informed, B. Wow.
By surprise, and how his father, Big Durk, was released from jail, came home to find out his oldest son had been gunned down. He'd confess about frequently dropping his location in an attempt to bait D-Thang's killers to slide on him so he could avenge him, but they chose to hide instead.
But retaliation for D-Thang's passing wouldn't come immediately, as Lil Durk would rap on Smirk Carter about how D-Thang didn't have his gun on him the night he died, and how his name was embroiled in a racketeering case which may be related to how the Chicago PD and the FBI believed D-Thang and King Von solicited the murder of gangster disciple rapper FBG Duck, and had O-Block gang members like Moowop and C-Murder gun him down in the Gold Coast.
You said that OTF D-Thang paid $5,000 for FBG Duck's location?
Oh yeah. The guy sent it to his baby mama. Teasy. He sent it to his baby mama. The cash out, he sent it that he killed Duck, that he got him killed, that he sent it all to him. And he stayed out there after that, Vlad. He stayed on the scene. That's why his Duck was on the ground, man. We watching Duck fight for his life. He was in the crowd. Him and the other guy was in the crowd watching Duck fight for his life, man. They deserve to go down.
But then, on July the 11th, 2021, 33-year-old Jamie Hawkins and 19-year-old Jaden Anderson, both Dumb Street members, were at a gas station on the 6100 block of South Ashland Avenue when a dark vehicle pulled up beside them and somebody from inside started unloading a barrage of shots towards the members, hitting them multiple times before fleeing the scene.
Developing tonight, a deadly double shooting at a Chicago gas
This right here is allegedly 2 of the 5 people.
station. 2 men killed in the middle of the afternoon. CBS 2's Stephen Graves is live at the 7th District Police Station in West Englewood. Stephen, the police station is less than a mile from the shooting.
Dave, that's right. Only about a 10-minute walk. And if that doesn't strike you, what will is the aftermath. What we saw at that shooting scene, at least a dozen bullet holes in one car. Screams from a loved one in anguish as she sees the evidence of this brutal double murder. We counted 14 bullet holes in this car at a West Englewood gas station, some in the frame, most bullets fired in the passenger side window. The 20-year-old man was pronounced dead near the pump. The 33-year-old man shot in the chest died at the University of Chicago hospital. Gas station workers say the whole shooting is caught on the many surveillance cameras on the property.
But as soon as Jamie Hawkins and Jaden Anderson, both Gotta Gang members, had died at the gas station in Ashland, Lil Durk would tell the world about his revenge campaign against Dumb Street, rapping on Fuck My Cousin with Lil Zay Osama about how he had avenged his brother by getting 2 men gunned down in the west side of Chicago, which referred to the death of Jaden Anderson and Jamie Hawkins. He detailed the struggles he had been facing with accepting the passing of his brother and would admit to having a hand in retaliatory efforts against Dumb Street on his January 2022 smash hit, Aha, and on his unreleased song titled Survivor, he'd rap about catching guys from Dumb Street and gunning them down.
Brother die, you ain't retaliate. That's why I don't really f with y'all. Catch it from the dump on the block, what you wanna slump all y'all.
Now, it's pretty evident that those responsible for the murder of D-Thang were gang members from Dumb Street, as Lil Durk rapped on his leaked song, Survivor. But there's a statement Tukaville gang member and rapper FBG Butter made on his Vlad TV interview 8 months ago that even had Vlad himself startled at the amount of information Butter knew in regard to the legal situations that were soon to unfold against Lil Durk. In the beginning of his interview, Butter clearly alleges that there are snitches within Lil Durk's entourage giving up text messages to federal investigators incriminating Lil Durk, and also wonders why Lil Durk hadn't been indicted for murder for hire.
Them is the who came and got down with them boys for real. Them is who gave them boys text messages, group chats, they people. Not we, not my side. My side can't. How the we gonna get our hands on these type of information?
In terms of law and statutes, if the Chicago PD were to prosecute Lil Durk for paying money to get someone killed, it would fall under the statute of conspiracy to commit murder. And a murder for hire indictment could only be pursued by the FBI, meaning while cooperating against the all-block shooters in the case of FBG Duck's murder, federal investigators may have tried to get information against Lil Durk from FBG Butter, which could have been the only reason he kept up bringing murder for hire instead of conspiracy to commit murder when talking on Lil Durk's role in getting various gang members killed.
When Yo Gotti name was allegedly brought up for murder for hire, they went and grabbed Yo Gotti right away.
Oh, niggas don't be talking about. Wow. So a drill journalist, that is a great point that you just put together. FBG Bud has been running around and he keeps murder for hire. We don't be talking like that. We don't be saying murder for hire. We be talking about get a nigga hit, get a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Get a nigga line. We don't talk like that. He also, wait, is it confirmed? Is it confirmed that he did cooperate in the trial against O Block for FBG Duck's murder, right? So obviously he's been in touch with detectives. He's murder for hire, murder for hire, murder for hire. The only person, we don't even talk like that. So now we're linking here this interview and him putting that out there, that this was already there of the alleged snitch. And we read the paperwork from April 2023 the other day, the unsealed indictment that said CHS, confidential human source, aka a CI, confidential informant, aka a snitch. This man was in tune. As much as people like to write FBG Butter off, he knew some shit. And he was obviously in talks with them people, right? Aren't they saying no? I take it back if that was. I'm pretty sure it was confirmed that he cooperated, right? And spoke with the detectives and took the stand, right? So he was in tune, right? Wow. Wow. This shit just sprawls all over the place.
No boy, they want to get out right. Yo Gotti the same day. Yo Gotti mugshot was posted all over the internet. Murder for hire, etc., etc., etc. Lil Durk name. The paperwork dropped with Shorty No for Face World on this. It's six little for Face World or somewhere else. All them telling about this, that, and the third. And the big dog name just keep coming up, and he ain't in jail.
This could very much make sense since the indictment against Lil Durk was handed to the grand jury back in June of 2024, meaning federal investigators had an eye out on Lil Durk before eventually apprehending him in late October of this year.
And Vlad loves it. You ever see when Vlad be talking to some of his guests and he be trying to do that shit where, hey, you want to hear a wild statistic? Of the 50 people that I've interviewed from the war in Chicago, 40 of them have either been arrested or are dead. Isn't that crazy? I'll be trying to tell them to get out the streets. Like, yeah, logically, it sounds like you're being, sympathetic towards it, and I'm sure he is. But Vlad, Adam 22 from No Jumper, that has done a lot of interviews with people from the war in Chicago, even going and grabbing dude that was just released from Pop Smoke's killing, right? You guys know what you're interviewing. You guys know the information and the content that you're going for. These are people that are involved in street shit. These are people that have beat cases, been arrested for certain things, maybe been on trial, all types of stuff. You know why you're interviewing these people, because they have stories that we're all consuming. Content is content. I get it. I understand it. And we're also the DJ Vlads of the world, me, we're civilians. Go ahead, do your content. I totally understand it. But don't try to spit it back at us like, isn't it wild that they died? No, because you're interviewing people that have a high probability of staying in some shit. And this is the content that you're either looking for or at times paying for. These tales. So let's not act surprised when the type of content that you're going for, these people who are still in the street and they came on your fucking platforms to try to get a bag with you, probably one that they needed, and then something happens to them 6 months later. Sometimes these interviews do heighten things, do provoke things, do make things more public. But these people are already in the streets. That's how the fuck they ended up on these platforms in the first place.
Now, listen to this plot twist. On April the 10th, 2022, 5 O-Block gang members were arrested in connection to the murder of FBG Duck in the Gold Coast, where Muwop, C-Murder, Kenny Mac, D-Thang, Zalmana, and Los Mana made the drive from Parkway Gardens to Oak Street to shoot and kill FBG Duck on August the 4th, 2020. Arrest footage for 3 of the 5 alleged shooters surfaced on the internet, but arrest footages of C-Murder and Muwop did not surface because, according to FBG Butter, there is a third man who was arrested alongside C-Murder and Muwop, who is believed to be cooperating against Lil Durk, and witnesses are known not to be announced to the public for safety reasons.
Everybody arrest video coming out from when they got arrested for this Duck case.
Yeah.
They ain't showing Muwop shit or C-Murder's happy. Y'all ain't seen Muwop and C-Murder's happy, y'all. Y'all wanna know why?
Why's that?
Because they got locked up with the fucking informant himself. On Tuka, shorty. They got locked up with the FBI biggest informant, gang. Come on, bro. Them boys got snatched at the airport on a private hangar. Come on, bro. Stop playing. Think about it. They called Durk, hey, you get them guys here, we're gonna come get you with them.
And I believe said witness could be 24-year-old Anthony Montgomery Wilson. Now, to understand how Anthony Montgomery Wilson fits into this dilemma that involves Lil Durk and his unquenchable thirst for retaliation, allow me to explain the nature of their relationship. AJ, government name Anthony Montgomery Wilson, is a 24-year-old gun-toting gang member from Mike City, and he has strong ties to Tay-Town, as said Lil Durk frequently visits and hands out wads of money to the gang members who do his bidding back in Chicago, and would even shoot the music video for Pissed Me Off, his tribute and outright proclamation to retaliate for the death of his blood brother, D-Thang.
Yeah, that's in the indictment we read the other day. Remember when we had the picture of who was circled in it along with Dirk, and everybody in the video was wearing all black? It's the piss me off video.
Now, on his 2022 guest appearance on Gucci Mane's Rumors, Lil Durk would allude to how he had told his gang members that he didn't want to settle for anyone they had caught, but in fact wanted whoever he paid for to be killed. Keep in mind that on Vlad TV's interview, FBG Butter had mentioned how there were people who were killed who weren't the initial intended targets, but then how the gang members turned around and killed the right person.
You didn't pay me to kill. I'd have killed the wrong fucker for me to turn around and go kill the right fucker though. But you, the police know I work for you. Cause they say Shorty flat out told they, it's like, man, Lil Durk told me to do that shit. And he paid me to do it.
Which essentially brings us to the afternoon of January the 27th, 2022, 6.5 months after the two Dump Street gang members, Jamie Hawkins and Jalen Anderson, were gunned down on the 6100 block of South Ashland Avenue. Lil Durk would allegedly put a bounty out on Stefan Mack, who directly had a hand in the death of D-Thang, unlike Jalen and Jamie, who were only associates of Dump Street and didn't directly have anything to do with D-Thang's passing, which you would think would satisfy Lil Durk, because on his smash hit Piss Me Off, he'd urge his gunmen to retaliate in his name if he ever got killed, or if they couldn't get the main guy, they should at least get those affiliated to him. But with the double murder of Jalen Anderson and Jamie Hawkins, you would think getting those affiliated to Dump Street would be enough, but no. After putting out a direct order to have Stefan Mack killed on January the 27th, 2022, Stefan Mack was exiting a church on the 400 block of West 111th Street.
So let's add some context there. So this is number 3 of 5 that we're on now. So allegedly, what's being detailed and broken down and pieced together here. We know D-Thang was killed at Club O. They showed links to the beef between D-Thang and Dump Street. They showed the Instagram live of D-Thang saying, fuck Dump Street. The talk, this is happening at a club, is that it was Dump Street members that killed D-Thang. The first 2 people that were killed allegedly were from Dump Street, but then they're linking it to raps that Lil Durk put out talking about, don't want the ones that didn't really do it. I want the ones I paid for. Basically saying like, okay, Dump Street was involved and they downed 2 people from Dump Street, but here goes Lil Durk still wanting and at some point allegedly getting this guy who was the actual person that was involved in D-Thang's murder. And this becomes person number 3. So you ended up with 3 in relation to it, but the first 2 wasn't the actual shooters. That's the point that's being made right here. And that's why he was saying, you would think, you know, you got 2. So you would say, all right, well, you know, if you don't then get his guys or whatever. And to a degree, that's even repeated fast forward in the situation with King Von. Right? Because you didn't get Quando, you got his cousin out in Beverly Hills. So this also paints to the whole, like, it wasn't going to stop there, because if I'm Mr. Murder for Hire, allegedly, Lil Pop doesn't satisfy me. Work is done. Okay, we didn't slid for Von, we didn't slid for, but I want the actual person too. So the Quando Rondo shit should always look over his shoulder. But if Durk was home, it's even that much more heightened, because allegedly it's being laid out here in the music, as well as 3 people that were already killed and people that's piecing together informants that we've seen in prior indictments, that it doesn't stop with people that are affiliated. Durk has these raps. These shootings are actually happening, whether he did it or not. Allegedly.
When Anthony Wilson and Preston Powell ran up on him and unloaded a barrage of shots towards Stefan Mack, hitting his head and chest. A security guard accompanying Stefan Mack out the church was also struck before the 2 men fled the scene. This assassination was caught on camera, with pictures of Anthony running up and shooting Stefan surfacing, and a picture of Preston.
Do y'all remember? Let me see how much y'all are really, really in tune. I know a lot of people in tune with the RVE side. How much are y'all in tune with the podcast at this point? Are y'all starting to remember some of the episodes that we've done? Do you remember the episode that I did where I said I'm Mr. Civilian. I'm far from being able to dictate any street code, right? But do y'all remember when I said, when is people gonna start looking at self-snitching just as bad as direct snitching? Because when you self-snitch, not only do you jam yourself up, but you could also get other people jammed up. I get on here and I say, yeah, the other night, you know what I'm saying, I shot up the club and I hit one of my ops, right? But what if the 3 people that was with me get arrested as well? Or even worse than arrested, get targeted as well. As you see in this video, they're laying out the first 2 people that were killed from Dump Street weren't the actual people that pulled off the shooting of D-Thang, right? But they end up losing their lives just based on affiliation and what they claiming and the gang banging, right? That's what you sign up for, whether you was the one that actually killed D-Thang or not. You are part of that team. We want you to, possibly, right? And that's why I said that the self-snitching to me is just as bad as snitching. Just as bad. And that's why I'm reading this comment. Shout out to Treehouse 2024. Then they wonder who's snitching. Motherfucker, you. You don't rap about like, yo, this nigga's a snitcher. You talk too much or whatever. These be the raps. But I got your lyrics and your interviews and your pieces of the puzzle. You're telling us all of this shit. Documentaries are being made off of what you're saying and what you're rapping and what you're titling the songs. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts, man. It was a song named Beverly Hills. What are we talking about? It's crazy, B. And I, you know, I mean no disrespect to nobody. I don't be up here trying to disrespect people and call people out their name and all that shit. But even niggas around, they get mad at the podcasters and the platforms that discuss some of this stuff. Did any of y'all ever look your homie in the eyes and say, what the fuck did you just rap? Take that shit down. Let me find out one of these street niggas would be more mad at me than a homie that said it. Or is you a yes man? You can't tap your homie on the shoulder and say, yo, what the fuck? Why you just put my name in that shit? Don't be calling me no shooter in your raps. Don't be talking about me and you could slide or I could call you. You could call me and I'll do something for you. Don't be rapping that. Don't put my name in none of your raps. Do you want the clout too? Is it cool when your name gets mentioned by the celebrity rapper in a song? You mad at the podcasters for talking about this stuff. And the podcasters are just listening to your homie. I've never gotten a single tweet or a single D. I don't think my voice in that and this podcast is that big yet. Notice I say yet. Because we brick by brick. But sooner or later, I could see myself getting contacted by somebody and yo, why are you talking about that? And I'm going to respect the communication. Well, what are we talking about? Is it something that I got false? I'll clean it up. I'll show respect to people. Is it an opinion that I had? Did I put something off as a fact that was really opinion? Am I really just repeating something that you said? Niggas be having their shit twisted of who really is the doer. I would love to, I'll never know that, but I would love to know how many of Lil Durk's homies tapped him on the shoulder and said, yo, why did you just say that in the song? How many people did that? Same goes for King Von, same goes for Young and A, same goes for any drill rapper, especially ones that have been arrested at this point. They don't even got to be a drill rapper. Any rapper that has had incriminating lyrics. I'm curious what percentage of their inner circle, their homies or the people around them riding the wave, tap them on the shoulder and say, you got some fucking nerve rapping that shit. We real street niggas. What the fuck is you talking about?
Preston Powell seen fleeing the church with both men spotted wearing blacked out hoodies and ski masks. And after leaving Stefan to bleed out and die outside a church, I repeat, they left Stefan Mack to bleed out and die outside a church, a place of worship. This only goes to emphasize the lack of remorse these killers in Chicago have for human life. Nevertheless, following the shooting death of Stefan Mack, Lil Durk would be back in Chicago to shoot the music video to his single Aha, which was released on
AR-Ab was too real for this for the music industry. He was way too raw, way too gritty for the music industry. That's probably one of the reasons why he never crashed through. Like it becomes a liability to put some money on people that are that much active in the streets. You're too active for me to put my money on. We want to be able to sell the violence, and we want to be able to sell how much people believe your story. I think 50 Cent went diamond in his first album. Yeah, we want to get the machines want to get behind that. They love a good story of y'all black motherfuckers killing each other. They love it. And the world obviously clicks up on the shit and loves it too. But yeah, AR-Ab was too real for the street. I remember AR-Ab's old Facebook page. That's how far I go back in my memory in this rap shit. The nigga Facebook banner was a picture of him shooting somebody in the face. It was like animated. But that was the banner of his Facebook page. I never forgot that shit. Never forgot it. Way too real for the street. Way too real. I mean, not for the street, for the music industry. Way too real. But you see the documentaries, all due respect, you see the documentaries that they put together on AR-Ab, right? They got like AR-Ab self-snitching part 1, AR-Ab self-snitching part 2. AR-Ab will be in the studio with his guys and tapping Skinny Me. Like, you see, this is Skinny Me right here. And the reason why he's one of my favorite rappers, and I fuck with his shit because I didn't really seen him get brutal. I didn't really seen him, you know what I'm saying, have whatever going on and really go put in the work. Skinny Me is like, allegedly, mass men, right? He speaks on his people like that. Skinny Me is really doing that. And what is Skinny Me sitting in jail for right now?
February the 22nd, 2022, and guess who appeared in the music video? Mike City gun-toting killer Anthony Wilson. He'd also be surrounded by Tay-Town gang members while shooting the music video to Aha, with some Tay-Town gang members claiming Lil Durk even handed out wads of cash to the gang, with there also being rumors that a huge chunk of money handed out that day went to Anthony Wilson for shooting and killing Stefan Mack a month earlier.
Million in cash, bro.
Million cash. Cash,
$1 million in cash, man.
$1 million.
Y'all know who did it. TTE. $1 million in cash. Only to do that. Only to do that. That's beautiful. You hear me?
And on the same day, the music video of Aha was shot. Gilly and Wallow were invited.
So, you know what I always thought? And I'll say I'll still believe, allegedly. I always thought that the podcast is $1 million worth of game. So Lil Durk brings $1 million. Dope stunt. Dope little look. You know what I'm saying? You know what this documentary is saying right here, what we just listened to? They're saying they also used the opportunity of that $1 million to pay out the guys for the previous hit that we just discussed, hit number 3. The one that we read the whole indictment for of Mac coming out of the youth center. The $1 million was the hit money. Let's bring it back again. Listen. And then he says, you know who did it? And they got Durk right there on camera. This is Instagram live stuff, people. This is Instagram. This is what they're putting out there. And these people that's in the indictment and being looped into this are in the video. All these dots that they're trying to connect. It's just hard to just act naive towards them.
And guess who appeared in the music video? Mike City gun-toting killer Anthony Wilson. He'd also be surrounded by Tay-Town gang members while shooting the music video to Aha, with some Tay-Town gang members claiming Lil Durk even handed out wads of cash to the gang, with there also being rumors that a huge chunk of money handed out that day went to Anthony Wilson for shooting and killing Stefan Mack a month earlier.
$1 million in cash, bro.
$1 million cash. Cash,
$1 million in cash, man.
$1 million.
Y'all know who did it. TTE. $1 million in cash. Only to do that. Only to do that. That's beautiful. You hear me?
And on the same day the music video of Aha was shot, Gilly and Wallow were invited to interview Lil Durk on his promo run for his 2022 album 7220, with Wallow going on an emotional tangent telling Lil Durk how he forgave the man who killed his brother and urging Lil Durk and his gang members to stop seeking retaliation for who.
And then they put details like the diamond medallion saying D-Thang on top of the money. which was also posted to Instagram with the caption, "Standing on business for you, Brody." When you got 1,000,000 dots being connected, if you want me to ignore all of them, you're asking me to be naive, biased, you're asking me to ignore my logic, and you're asking me to play dumb. 1, 2, 3 little thing. You're asking me to ignore all of this. Ignore all of this. When you guys are actually saying this shit on Instagram Live. You know who did it. $1 million, it look beautiful. And then the captions go up, "Standing on business for you, bro." The FBI agents take all of this shit and say, "Appreciate it," in the indictment. And then the jurors got to watch all of this the same way we do right here in the chat. And the jurors got to do the same thing. Try to ignore all the dots being connected right in front of our faces.
Whoever they may have lost to gun violence in the gang-ridden streets of Chicago.
Some of y'all in this room, y'all might not see next year. Y'all might not see next week. And I know you niggas got no dads out here. And I'm gonna say some shit that, like, this is documented. I forgave my brother's killer. And I'm saying it to say this. Killed my brother. My brother died in my grandma's arms. They shot my brother. He ran to the house. He died in Natty Hall when she opened the door. So I'm telling you this some real shit, man. If I ain't let that shit go, I won't be right here today.
Man, he like
straight up, man.
It's so crazy. Yeah, this motherfucker really dropping tears for this. Like,
note right there though. So a lot of people resurfaced that clip, and we're looking at Durk, and people are saying, "Damn, why didn't you take Wallow's advice?" Right? Not allegedly knowing that there was literally already an indictment for Durk already sliding behind his people, and allegedly with this video and that money and that medallion D-Thang sitting on top, it was already carried out. The 3 that we already went over in this video, 3 shootings, all people allegedly from this Dump Street gang that was either involved directly or indirectly with his brother's killing. So you sit in there, you spewing your heart to these young men and to Lil Durk saying, "Yo, put that shit down." But Durk is already at this point at that time a sealed indictment from April 2023, carrying out murder for hires. And you guys are putting some of the linked proof here in the video that the feds just went and added back. So respect to Wallow, always taking these opportunities to try to give some game to these young guys when he comes across them. But it was too late. And when I say too late, not just the fact that, like, it's saying 3 people were already down behind this, allegedly, but Durk's name was already in a fucking indictment. It was just sealed, and nobody knew. Nobody fucking knew. Now, I guess you could say that when it comes to Lil Pop, right? But when it comes to D-Thang, his brother, and these other 3, and already being into it with the authorities, you just don't know yet. You just don't know.
But little did Wallow know, on the music video they had just filmed for Lil Durk's song Aha, he'd rap about how hard the death of D-Thang was affecting him, and confessing that they did in fact retaliate for the murder of D-Thang.
Because just like the evidence they had on Shorty and they had on Durk too, that you just paid to get your fucking brother killed. How you not in jail? We ain't talking about this. This just ain't happening in our face, huh? Who the f you know name get brought up and what actually proving facts that you done paid me some money to go kill him. And I'd have killed the wrong motherfucker too. You didn't pay me to kill, I'd have killed the wrong motherfucker for me to turn around and go kill a right motherfucker though. But the police know I work for you. Cause they say Shorty flat out told them, it's like, man, Lil Durk told me to do that shit. And he paid me to do it.
And after having a hand in numerous murders across Chicago in an effort to retaliate for the murder of his blood brother D-Thang, Lil Durk was still looking for a way to retaliate for his late friend King Vaughn, and that opportunity would soon present itself. After various attempts on Quando Rondo's life, federal investigators allege Lil Durk made it clear to various gang members within his vicinity that he would financially compensate anyone who took part in the murder of Quando Rondo. And on August the 18th, Lil Durk and his entourage would learn from co-conspirator 4, who could be someone who resided in Los Angeles, that Quando Rondo was in the City of Angels and staying in a hotel in downtown LA. And immediately after learning about
Okay, so this right here starts to go into number 4. We've already extensively covered the Little Pop and the Quando Rondo shooting, right? So we're at 4 now, people. So I want to skip ahead. There's a lot of links here too involving, as y'all can see, I'm scanning the video, Brick Baby. I'm going to leave him alone in this particular live, but they're just going over a lot of links with Brick Baby allegedly. You know, they're going over when he was dissing Quando Rondo, when before and at, like, you know, there's a lot of links to Brick Baby, and Brick Baby, I think, needs to be very, very careful whether he was involved with it or not, right? Because once the internet gets a hold of stuff like this, it's tough. So, but I want to skip that because the 4th person, we pretty much already went into pretty much depth already. Let's try to get to the 5th one.
Ray's wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy and rap about how he gets into his feelings when he thinks about the brothers he lost and how he'd rather get revenge rather than millions, and ending the song off by saying that he got the Addy, got the location, told his shooters they got the green light, and after turning on the news, he saw someone's son screaming no.
Comments.
Screaming no as an ad-lib, clearly mocking Quando's reaction when he saw that Lil Pop had been killed at the Beverly Center.
I'm triggered by the Sly for Vaughn comments. Still, I don't know if people still say it.
Look at his face.
They used to say it, but you also mentioned a song. They'd be like, they be saying Sly for Vaughn. I think they trolling me. Them songs is fire. I ain't gonna lie.
For some reason, I just don't see the comments no more. For some odd reason. I don't know. Might be the water. You be seeing the comments a lot?
They kind of chilled out a little bit.
I wonder why. Weirdo.
All right, and here's the beginning, folks, of number 5. Oh yeah, okay. So this
sometimes published when the mural for the late Black
bear with
disciple.
me when we hear those little mute segments. What that normally is somebody or the creator here of the video that we're watching and reacting to got maybe a copyright strike on certain areas of audio. If he's like playing music or something like that, and he elected to mute that section. So we'll keep an eye out for the rest of the video because I think that happens a couple times for alleged victim number 5.
Drill rapper King Von on a corner store's wall in front of O Block, and as various Black disciples like Lil Durk, Muwab, and Boss Top had taken pictures in front of the mural as a sign of respect to all.
Yeah, so we know about the King Von mural. Wasn't it covered up recently? I wonder if they're gonna try to put it back, paint it back over or something like that. We did a stream asking. That's not a good thing.
No, we do this for you. So, how you just came in this deal. Let me know we got 10 minutes. You know, yeah, who that is right now? You know who that is right now. Over here, folks, pose. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
But while the mural was meant to forever immortalize the legacy of Chicago's most influential drill rapper in the past decade, it may have brought unwanted attention from King Von's most formidable ops.
We into it till you die, real street. That's your funeral, I might decide. Rest in peace. Shoot up there, everybody that's outside. When we feel this one, I don't lose, you still switching. You change something different.
FBG Cash, allegedly victim number 5. So I think we covered this. This was the back and forth he was having with Durk about actually going to the mural and mocking Durk as well as Von. Purposely, allegedly disrespecting Von's death. Now remember, he's from the other side. FBG Cash. What are these lyrics right here from one of his songs? They put your muscle in a wheelchair. Therapy can be working because that. I don't want to go to Club O no more.
At the door, a clear reference to Lil Durk's brother OTF D-Thang, who died while at the
So FBG Cash even got lyrics dissing the death of D-Thang.
club, and he'd end the song off by claiming,
What's he saying? You getting extorted, so bring that bread. Well, okay. So FBG Cash, he's doing taunting. He's obviously from that other side that they already into it with. He's disrespecting the mural of King Von, and he's disrespecting D-Thang in songs. Talking about I ain't going to Club O and all this type of stuff. Now, I do remember this interview right here on No Jumper with Adam 22, with him up there. In this interview, he talks about how he got into it with Lil Durk and them exchanging text messages back and forth. And Durk kind of telling him, like, don't you dare go up to that King Von mural.
See what happened to you. I'm outside right now.
And while he'd continue garnering traction through his music, back in Atlanta, Lil Durk would fire shots towards FBG Cash on computer murderers, rapping about how Cash wouldn't get away with sneaking pictures in front of Von's mural and how he'd have his shooters come and gun him down. And whether Cash thought him and Lil Durk were now embroiled in a rap beef rather than a violent gang war, we may never know. But in late May 2022, FBG Cash would find himself parked in front of a woman's house in Chicago, and he would tell Drea O about an incident where a woman's boyfriend would pull up on him and unload various shots towards his car where he suffered wounds from the bullet fragments in this incident. But he would be fortunate enough to escape with his life.
I feel like he would want you guys to know. Listen to FBG Cash in his own words tell you what was going on in his life a few weeks before he passed.
Yeah, I know. I think it was her because like I was at her crib at like 4:20 in the morning. Her just left rap a lot, so I was sitting at her crib. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, the mocking of the dead, but you know it's not just Chicago anymore. You know, you see it in New York drill. You see it. You see it in a lot of music at this point.
Yeah, I forgot I gave him keys.
But you see how dangerous it is too.
He bombed. So I'm like, but I never got back.
Now, see here though, Cash is talking about a shooting where he actually survived though. So we don't know who he's giving this to as far as this attempt on his life, but this was the first shooting that he actually got away from.
She was like, whoa. I'm like, drive.
And after escaping with his life in this particular incident, you'd think FBG Cash would refrain from letting his guard down when he's with women in Chicago. But a couple of weeks later, he'd find himself parked in the 16,000 block of West 81st Street at 5:30 a.m. with a woman in the passenger seat.
In a matter of weeks, there was 2 attempts on his life. Sir, you was being hunted.
This is a 10-minute drive from where Jaden Anderson and Jamie Hawkins, the 2 Dump Street members, had lost their lives as retaliation for D-Thang's slaying. And while in that vehicle, a 4-door black sedan would pull up and 2 men would exit the car and would unload a barrage of shots towards him, hitting him 13 times in his torso, wounding the woman in the process, then fleeing the scene.
It was around 4 a.m. in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood 1600 block of 81st Street, where we are right now, when 2 gunmen hopped out of a black sedan and shot FBG Cash 13 times in the body. Another woman that was also in the car with him was wounded as well.
Videos from residents in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood would show a lifeless FBG Cash unresponsive and laid down under a tree, surrounded by police officers. And while the police were in a frenzy.
Under a tree? Bring that back. Under a tree?
That was also in the car with him was wounded as well.
Videos from residents in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood would show a lifeless FBG Cash unresponsive and laid down under a tree, surrounded by police officers. And while the police were in a frenzy, trying to gather information on who may have been responsible for Cash's murder.
Under a tree. I brought that back so we could take note of that. That's where he laid when he had his final moments.
Black's album, he'd go on Instagram Live alongside OTF Booney Mo and would start rapping about leaving someone stretched out under a tree.
You ain't have your gun for them, you better have your gun for me. Better have your gun for Booney. Better have your gun for C. You don't believe me, you gonna see. You gonna end up by that tree.
Know that we did it.
But I got my gun for Boone, they call him Chief. But we should have killed him soon, cause he a thief.
This would later morph into threats to everybody, which dropped in December of that year. And on thought, he'd fleetingly reference Cash's death, rapping about how he died in front of his girl and she couldn't save him.
If we go back for a second here, this becomes a pattern to a degree, right? Just like
Black's officers. And while the police were in the
just like the AHA video. And he's wearing the same thing here in this particular music video that they're calling out. He's wearing the same clothes that he is in that Instagram video where he's talking about you're going to end up by that tree or get found by that tree. And he puts the camera on his man. What does the man say? You know we did it. This is insane.
Black's album, he'd
Same
go on
clothes.
Instagram Live alongside OTF Goonie Mo and would start rapping about leaving someone stretched out under a tree.
You ain't have your gun for them. You better have your gun for me. Better have your gun for Booney. Better have your gun for C. You don't believe me, you gonna see. You gonna end up by that tree.
Know that we did it.
But I got my gun for Boone. They call him Chief. But we should have killed him soon, cause he a thief.
This would later morph into threats to everybody, which dropped in December of that year. And on thought, he'd fleetingly reference Cash's death, rapping about how he died in front of his girl and she couldn't save him.
And that's the GOAT. Shout out to the members, man. I appreciate you joining. Not sure at what point you came onto the stream, but yes, we just completed going over allegedly all 5. And the title, for the sake of trying to be sensitive with YouTube, says Lil Durk accused of paying for 5 shootings. As we just went over, this title could have read 5 murders, right? Because a shooting doesn't necessarily mean that somebody died, but we just went over all 5 that's allegedly being laid out with all these dots being connected, the references, the songs, the lyrics, the videos, the court documents, the ops, with all this stuff. It's just, there's another one that wasn't in here when we talk about the 5th person that we just went over, FBG Cash, and we talked about it on a prior stream. The video reference where Durk is surrounded by his guys and there's money on the floor, cash on the floor, and they're all stepping on it and they're all pointing down and shooting at the cash with their fingers. i.e. Cash, FBG Cash got stepped on, and that's how the video ends. I forget what song it is or what video it is, but there's a lot of references. It's a lot, man. And this is another thing I think that people look at when they talk about, not to mix topics, like Diddy's indictment. Everybody keeps saying the term superseding indictment because there typically is more. When they think when these feds, when they know that they got enough, they come, they grab you and whoever else. And then you start to hear all these other details unfold. Indictment by superseding indictment, detail by detail, witnesses come forward, or more their cooperators come forward, all this type of stuff. You know, once again, this was what we just did for almost 2 hours the other day, was an indictment that went in April 2023. And he didn't know. He didn't know. Wallow didn't know. This is all stuff that's in the indictment. You're giving them advice about letting it go, but allegedly the 3 that they're there in your face celebrating and allegedly paying off and putting into the AHA video, those 3 were already murdered, allegedly. Once again, people, especially not no civilian. I'm a civilian, but don't get upset at the podcasters and the platforms for reacting and watching these documentaries and looking at some of this information that the internet has put together, when the information that's being reviewed has come from the actual artists or allegedly the doers, right? And I'm trying to be respectful by saying allegedly, but you know, on the same token, if I believe you, if I don't believe that you're a fake rapper, if I believe that you're actually rapping what you live, then you can't go both ways. I can't say, oh, yo, he's one of the realest rappers. And then on the flip side, say when the indictment comes, all the shit that he was rapping about is false. It's just artistry. Which one is it? You know, I smelled it on CJ. I smelled it on 6ix9ine. And there's other rappers that come out and it's just like, it's just entertainment. All right, cool. You know, if it's a good song, it's a good song. I'm not invested at that level where I'm just like, yo, if he ain't real, I can't play. I'm not invested at that level. It's all entertainment to me when I'm talking about music. But there are those times where we go past music and we start to talk about who is authentic. Who is authentic now? That's a different conversation. And if you guys are going to give people the label while they're out here and being successful and they're actually eating off of this and their reputations are being heightened by this and their respect is being heightened by this because we feel that their lyrics are authentic when they tell us these things, and then the indictment comes after that. We can't switch up. We can't switch up. I can't say, oh no, he was fake this whole time. I always thought Lil Durk was. I'm not trying to say that I thought he was the same as King Von, but shit, I'd always felt that Lil Durk then possibly done more than most. Go pull up his 50 fucking mugshots. You know what I'm saying? So I always put a couple stripes on Durk's jacket. And I'm pretty sure as a man, while he was out here free and just doing his thing, that's what he would have wanted. He would have wanted people to look at him as a real one. And that's what I always did. But now you want me to look at these lyrics and these songs and all the symbolism and all these hints and all these breadcrumbs, and you want me to say it's all impossible? None of that makes sense. All this shit that you're putting in front of me, none of it is true. That's what you're asking me to do. Now you want me to be fake to myself. It's just unfortunate, man. It's very, very unfortunate. So, you know, everybody that's jammed up in this, family members, there's kids whose fathers and mothers are being affected by this type of stuff. There's obviously people that have lost their lives. And I have a heart for all of those affected. But when we're talking about the situation itself, don't ask me to ignore logic and all the shit that you laid out for us. Then you just want me to play dumb.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I drop it, connected to block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without, I think still got a gun.